You ready? Yeah, go ahead. All right. So yesterday, I spoke with the Dean of Students in regard to a number of issues myself and others have pressed here. The particular issue I wanted to talk about today, the one at hand, and I feel the one that disturbs the most scrutiny is the continued response to. Oh, I mean, yeah, sorry. Yeah. The particular issue I wanted to talk about today. Okay, I think we're chilling now. Okay. Anyways, at least the one that I thought deserved the most scrutiny was the continued response to request to fly the Palestinian flag in Herman Hall. Around 3 months ago, I'm sure most of you were there, we had SJP present us about their efforts to hang the flag in Herman Hall. And just as you know, I'm not here on behalf of SJP, I'm just on my own. But their presentation showed two very important things. One, that Palestinian students and also many non-Palestinian students strongly believe that we should be flying the Palestinian flag in Herman Hall so that these students are well represented. The second important point that was made was that admin was fundamentally wrong or lied about whether or not the flag could be hung. It has now been a number of months since we've had that conversation, and we have yet to see, even in the slightest, a budge from admin's stance. For this reason, I wanted to speak to the Dean of Students directly to see what was preventing this from happening. It is now, and now after speaking to Dean Stetz, I truly believe that the administration is actively failing the student body and failing to represent all students equally. In speaking to her, she stated a number of things which I believe to be quite concerning. Firstly, I stated, and in my opinion, this is a matter as simple as buying a flag and getting a ladder and hanging the flag up. But in her words, it is not so simple. There are rules and whatnot, and this has been an issue for 24 years. Coincidentally, she has been the Dean of Students for many years now and has continued to fail her constituents on this matter. If after so many years this cannot be achieved, then that's not a failure, that is willful. She has spoken on the fact that there are 10,000 students here, each with their own needs and identities. She stated she can't choose one group over another. And to that I asked, who is the other in the case of hanging a flag at Herman Hall? This is not asking for Palestinian students or any particular group to be super special, protected class or whatnot. This is asking for equality and representation. The Dean of Students made it clear that this is one group over the other issue and not the students requesting the Palestinian flag to be hung. We are not requesting the removal of any flags, specifically the Israeli flag or anything. This is quite literally the bare minimum of giving equality to all students. Additionally, when I applied to the school, one of the flagship things that was put forth about IIT is that it's diversity. And I was told that many students here of so many nationalities and so many languages are all here in unity. And it was an important factor in my applying here and my wanting to be here, because that is something that I value. However, it's clear that these values of diversity and inclusion have a line drawn between getting students to apply here and actually being represented on campus. We can use these students to bring in other students, but we cannot represent them adequately and fly their flag. So I call on administrators and Dean Stetz once again to grow up and to actually stand up for your students. You are the Dean of Students, and it's time that you advocate for them equally.
Any other items for open floor today at all? Okay, Jacob, you're up.
Sorry, everyone. Derek has basically given me the chance now to use my time as inspired by what's happened the past 2 weeks to try to fix in it. That's my interpretation of this. I'm going to have to, I guess, join and share my screen. We'd have to present a little bit of things to you. I'm not going to be presenting anything of mine. I'm going to be presenting things that you guys all did. It's more than a document. Unless what Eric shared is the most important thing, then according to Derek's quote, this is the most important part of the meeting. Oh, I'm Derek. So look at my screen. If I'm behind it. A physics major, I do not understand sound the way I should. Picture of math. Whatever. Why is it? Okay. Test. Yeah. Okay. Is it presenting? Yes. Okay. So what I'm showing you are the notes from meetings that we have posted in the past 2 Saturdays. These meetings were inspired by Maya. Is it Bajoric or Bajoric? Where is she? I don't know if she's here. Anyways, over the recent scrutiny over SGA, and justifiably so, as agreed upon by every executive member and seemingly in the executive session. And so I guess I'll go over the first one. The first meeting is what created that executive session that we held. It inspired the structure for it. It was like a collective effort that was discussed by everybody that attended the Saturday session in response to the discussion started by Maya 2 Wednesdays ago now. And so we were like, how do we respond to this? And we did those one-on-one discussions to put everybody's perspectives on SGA. It's all on the table. It's now all in the aggregate. There's the document which is shared. There is a document that has aggregated all of your perspectives. And so then the Saturday after that, 3 days later, we discussed your perspectives in detail. We wanted to see how we're going to respond in the next few weeks from those perspectives. And so that was this meeting. Sorry, I was reading my own notes. And so during that, we looked at all of the, I guess I can open the points. This is the aggregate or compiled summary of what happened during the executive session. There were a few main points. The 3 defining ones that we thought were structural changes and definitions of SGA. It seems like everybody is lost and nobody knows what specifically they need to do. And I'm going to bring up a few anecdotes. Sudipta and like we were all mentioning we need to write out the definitions of certain committees. And I'm like, Sudipta, are you like referring to my research committee document, which is like a 5-page long document about like what each role does, what the committee does? And he's like, well, not that. Doesn't that already exist for every committee? And like he was baffled at the fact that it didn't exist yet. And I think everybody is. You've just joined a student government and you have no idea what you're actually supposed to be representing or doing. You have no details. You're only given the Constitution and its vagaries. And so during the Saturday meeting, we met for about 2.5 hours of working time. The rest was eating ramen. And during those 2.5 hours, we knew that we couldn't resolve it there. And so we looked over all these points and you can see them. This is all public. I think I shared these notes in general. If I didn't, I will do that now. They're all just gonna be in general. Because they're in the aggregate. They're from Wisdom's only president. And so, yeah, so you can see the notes. Anyway, I don't want to harp on this too much longer. Why I'm presenting this is just because, or what all this discussion so far has been, is trying to show that everything that we have done, it was about 6 or 7 of us that were in attendance on the Saturday meeting. And it was executives, and it was senators, and it was people that are neither of those, but involved in SGA. And so we compiled these points, and these are the points that we intend to present to everybody in order to engage in collective action to improve SGA. And so we came up with a few ideas to address it immediately, but what we hope is that everybody that is interested in one of these ideas will take on one of these ideas. And either in the next 3 weeks or so on, they'll make some progress. It doesn't have to be substantial, we have exams, but they'll make some progress or just write down some defined ideas about how these things should run. Because, I mean, if this came from the executives, we would be speaking to, like what I'm doing now, we would be speaking to you, we would be presenting things to you that maybe you have no idea or you wouldn't want. And so the goal of this is just to have everybody in SGA work towards every part of SGA. And so I guess I'm just going to go by this one by one. If everybody's like on the same page and we're all as motivated as, like my perspective is that these past 2 weeks have been very motivated to heal SGA, to fix it. And it's been, like last week it was like a safe space for everybody to just basically just rant about SGA. And so for the first point, I feel like I'm not going to get many hands raised, but I hope over time, maybe the quieter ones will, but the first point is methods for student orgs and SGA to engage with each other. So if you think you have an idea, this is the point where you actually push your ideas. And if you have an idea, it's not an agenda that you're pushing, you are trying to improve the structure of SGA. So if you raise your hand, you're saying, I want to write out my ideas, draft some formalism for how this thing acts. One of our ideas was just enforced attendance, incentivized attendance. Every student org leader should be incentivized either by being entered into a raffle or just by requirement, which is the less preferable way, to come to SGA and voice their perspectives. Because as Shahan said, the student org leaders are really where everything happens. And I think anybody who's deeply engaged in campus knows that the student orgs, the Greek life, or the athletics, those are all like the defining cultures of the campus. So is anybody interested in advancing student orgs or like helping define the structure with SGA and student orgs? Rezwan has raised his hand. Ideally, we'll have every, the count is 3, so we ideally have 3 senators on this. We're not going to have any senator left alone. So if you have a friend that would work on a project, I mean, this is your role as a senator right now that we've all agreed upon as an executive board and as a member, as people that attended Saturday. If you would disagree with this approach, please voice that now. But we're trying to do this approach to fix things. I don't know how to do this. This is really difficult. Is Rezwan the only one interested in helping define Andrew Rollins as well? Are there any friends of both of these two that would be interested in joining them? I'm going to type out their names. Okay, Derek as well. Yes, please. Okay, is anybody interested in working towards fixing comments? It's all it takes is a resolution and meetings to address this issue. I don't know how much of an issue it is, but Avery voices concerns. So which one of the senators also agrees that this is a concern or empathizes with Avery and wants to fix this issue? This is an actionable issue. It's an easy issue. You can use ChatGPT to draft a resolution. Are you interested? Okay. Preferably we have a second person to help him. Perfect. Exactly. And so after I'm done with all this, I hope to work in 15 at least 15 minutes where everybody's going to be working on these things. And you just like, have your preliminary meeting, you establish when you're gonna meet next to work on this and what you're gonna do before that meeting. And then, like a few people will be walking around that haven't gotten a task to help others that need it, but ideally everybody's engaged in some project now. So this is how we inform SGA. This is different from student org engagement. This is how, whether it's tabling or any other idea that you have, how do you formalize that? Tabling was attempted to be formalized by our current engagement office, and because of the perfect storm that SGA is currently in, it hasn't actually worked. But we're hoping to fix this. Is anybody interested in helping engage with the students? Just pulling data, whether it's surveys, it's door knocking, whether you have somebody, I see it on the UC Berkeley campus all the time. You probably have students going in all across the campus running, like, what do you think of this? They're recording it, like, how do you want to engage with the students? This is the question. This is fixing the engagement committee. Does anybody have any interest in drafting some proposal of how the engagement committee should run? Rezwan again. Rezwan, you're gonna be busy next week. Okay. No. Is anybody else interested in other than Rez? We have Joseph, who's a notable tabler. Yeah. Can everybody read this? If you can't, raise your hand. Can you not read what's on the screen? No, everybody can read it. No, not the methods for selection. We're just on how to engage. We're defining the engagement committee. Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay, if we're not interested in that, this is the functionings of committees with respect to SGA in the Senate. What does that mean? I had a whiteboard last time we explained it. I'm going to share what our idea was. Actually, Sunita, would you like to share? No? Yes? Okay. Might be really hard without any whiteboard.
So last Saturday, we proposed a plan of like structuring the committees and their role definitions. So what we all found that the committees don't have a proper structure to work or function, and they don't have any goals they didn't have a goal last semester or maybe for the last year. So maybe they had, but we didn't know about the goals. So what we have proposed here is to give them a process. The process would be like, it's a very complicated process. I don't know if I will be able to explain you the process like in that way, but it would be like every committee will be so if you consider SGA as the top of the hierarchy and all the committees below it, so there is like the SGA will be holding meetings on Wednesdays. So what happens is every committee will come up with, so every committee will have the Senate members in their team. So they will be responsible to bring up one issue every single week. Whether it's like, if it's public safety, if it's engagement, if it's like resident life, if it's academic affairs, one issue they have to bring every week to the table, and they can deliver these issues to maybe SGA before the meetings, or they could write it in their own committees, and in that way they have to present their issues to the committee, to SGA every week. So what this will do is, this will have a list of all the issues that a particular committee will be is currently facing. I'm sure that every committee, like the academic affairs, so we discuss a lot of issues in academic affairs. So they will have a lot of issues with them. So they need to write it out. So they need to write all the issues one by one and need to come up to SGA and they need to present it. Now we are in the process of the main challenge here is how to select which issue, which committee will. So which committee will be like focusing on, and based upon a raffle. So we proposed a raffle, like a ball and a sheet of paper, where someone will pick up a sheet where the issues will be written there. And let's say the issue belongs to academic affairs. So academics affairs VP has to address the issue, and it has to be discussed among their teammates and the senators respectively, and they need to come up with a resolution. It's just not, you cannot just write it out and just get it voted. It has to be a resolution to solve the issue, like to address. And in every successive meetings, the issue should be addressed. And in a semester, every committee needs to address at least 2 issues, or else we will put SGA will put a huge penalty on the committee. Like if maybe public safety or maybe engagement or maybe research affairs fails to deliver any 2 issues. Like, let me be very clear. It's not just writing resolutions and just getting it voted. It's just to give your opinions, to give a solution based upon an issue. So if you take one issue like a public safety vehicle, so the committee has to come up with a resolution of a solution how to mitigate the issue. So, and they need to write it down, and they need to present it on a successive Senate meetings. So based upon that resolution, every committee will be given a leaderboard point. So we are still working on it. So they will be given a leaderboard score. We will gamify this whole process. And the most important part, just listen to this. So if a committee is on the top 3 of the leaderboard, they get to choose their own senators from the next semesters. So the committees which will be for I have been hearing a lot of voices where a committee will have 2 senators, one will be from academic affairs and one will be research affairs. So committee might come, the VPs might come and complain that, okay, we are not getting the good senators out there. So this issue will be completely resolved from this leaderboard, and every committee on the top, if let's say public safety, engagement and research affairs appears on top 3 of the leaderboard, so they will have the priority. So they will be given a priority, and the last committee in that will be penalized. And we have not decided on the actions, but based upon deciding with the EVP and the president, maybe it's not a hard action, but maybe we will dissolve the committee. So if a committee fails to give a resolution or a solution for 2 issues per semester, they might be dissolved. So that's the action we are going to take. So SGA is going to take next semester. So be prepared, and the next few weeks will be not the whole action. It is a process. We are going to start the process, implement and test it out with random issues. And I think the current executive board, whoever gets selected, should apply this to fix SGA. I think in a semester, if one committee takes 2 issues, how many committees are there? Maybe 7, 8, 18 issues will be solved. 18 issues can be solved in a semester. So instead of talking out, we can do this in this process. Thank you.
Does this make sense? I see somebody nodding. Oh, okay. Did the graph, okay, Tessa doesn't make sense. So does this graph align with what you think you're saying? Do you think I well represented what you were saying? This? I think, yeah, I will comment, I guess, on what Sudeep just shared. I think you focus a little bit more on how it's enforced and how it's gone. The main thing is just that the committee presents on their progress of the issue. So recently, somebody called out Derek's open floor thing. I was defending it, saying that somebody presents open floor, and the idea was that they would never present on it again, because the idea was that SGA would present on the progress that it has made on that idea. That's why it's not getting presented on again, or brought up in the open floor. And so with each of these, the committee has been presented an idea. The goal is that SGA will then present their goal, what they've done, their progress to the Senate, and just show that they're making progress. And Sudeep was showing that if they're not making progress, one of the things is, that they will have to be included in their proposal is how do we enforce this progress to be made? Because right now, every committee would have been dissolved effectively under this structure. But it also includes a lot more accountability. Joseph has mentioned that there should be more things on the website, that these things should be public and that people can hold the government accountable. That would be one of the things. This would make it easy for a spreadsheet to log every issue that's being addressed by a committee. This isn't the final solution though, this is a proposal. This just came up out of nowhere. Your solution may look different from this. So, going back to the notes. There's already 3 people working on this idea. Maybe 2. But if anybody else is interested in working on a structure to just increase overall committee effectiveness and the structure of committees and how it interacts with SGA. Like that's what we meant by how committees interact with SGA. If anybody has another idea that resolves another hole, another issue, this is like a time where you can propose it. And these ideas don't have to be finalized by May 5th. They don't have to have that much progress. It's just an idea, just having any progress. So putting your name to this as an assigned here. Doesn't hold you to any requirements. This is all just people. Ben, you're interested? Okay. This is just people just expressing interest out of motivation for helping heal Senate. 10 of you, were you also interested? So Ben's going to be working alone, it seems, on his own idea. Is anybody interested in helping Ben with his idea? Or Ben the matter? He's right there. He's here. He's going to be working on this. So Ishan, Bhavya, and Sudipta are all working on the idea that was just presented. They're confident in their idea. It's fine if they're all working together. And so, what, you want to join this idea? That was your, okay.
So.
I don't know. He raised his hand.
Wait, so are you saying that we need to make our own idea to present it and like figure it out? Because I thought
So you can either progress on this proposal and help with the 3 people working on it now, define that in some document, or you can propose your own idea to either compete with this one, or you can propose your own idea to address a different issue.
I'll join them.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
So there's at least one person that is bought into this idea that was discussed during Senate. Is anybody else interested in this idea and just helping advance it? This is an idea that they think they would like to define their Senate. 4 people is enough, so I'll stick with that. Okay. One of the comments was that there needs to be a better way for us selecting senators. Checking a little competency check, a little motivation check, not motivation, but why are you running for? Why are you becoming one? And so I don't know how to check these things. Interviews are an idea. There's just one simple standardized idea. If you're interested in formalizing a better way to bring in senators, I shared my authoritarian idea of there is a specific committee that picks who is the next executive board. Which, maybe it's like more than authoritarianism. But if you're interested in a different way, right now we just have popularity contests. I'm not going to comment on the current election, but we have contests that do not well gauge one's interest in SGA, one's connection with SGA, one's motivation. So is anybody interested in either on the senator side or the executive side of doing this? I'll write my name down, although I have no idea. Okay. Joseph and I are working together. Is anybody else interested in joining Joseph and I? We're both very outspoken. Hard to work with us. Nikhila? Okay, probably. Yeah, that's true. The vice chair of research could not be here today with other things that were required. Role of senator descriptions. This is another thing. This is like, once we have all of the structure defined, once you're in Senate, once you become a senator, your role is now well defined, either within your committee or with respect to SGA. And so Joseph shared his 2 ideas. There should be legislation and action. Those are the 2 things that define a senator. About 12 people before that in the executive session, I divided it into 2 things differently. I divided it into your committee and SGA. That was my distinction. And so those are philosophical belief or perspectives on what the senator is. you have your own perspective on what a senator is or what it should be, or just any idea of, interest in defining the senator's role, raise your hand now. You can type your name. I'd also be interested. I'd be interested in working on all of this. Yes, Joseph, you're interested? Or, yeah. Okay. There's 5 people. We hope for 5 people to work on this because it's so vague. If you want to help define the position of a senator, the position of an SGA member, Rez, you want to work on it? We have 1 committee chair and 1 president. Are any senators interested in helping work on this? Helping Sadipta? Anybody else? There's a quiet table in the middle. I'm not going to call you out. I just didn't know. Avinash? Probably. All right, this is the most ambitious one. This is where I imposed my own perspective onto it in response. Yeah. So I don't expect it. This is the one that I actually expected nobody to raise their hands for. Everybody else I expected to shooting up their hands. This is has everybody here raise your hand if you have seen the research document, the founding mission and establishment of the research committee. Really, only 4 people? That makes me sad. A lot more of the research committee has. Anyways, I'll share it. I'll go to it just to make you see it. This is the Committee for Research Affairs' webpage, scraiit.org. It's currently getting a new website built by one of our committee members. This is an outdated version, but it's still in the drive. So the SRA has made a public Google Drive for everybody to access, and this is present in here. So when I was asking if you've seen this, can people raise their hands if they've seen this document before? It got passed around during the SGA. Same people don't. Okay. Okay. So apparently not many people have, or they're just not engaged. Yeah. I mean, this details representatives within the committee. If you're a senator and you wish you represented something better, this is something that you could add to your own committees. Campus Life could have representative details for every student org. You could be engaging with student orgs and advancing their mission, acting as a mentor for student orgs. Senators are often coming from student orgs or they're already involved with, and so it would help to mentor the newly proposed organizations. If that's something you want to implement in your committee, or if there's something else that you want to implement, this is where you should raise your hand. You can contribute to this. Your graduate reps, hosting a website. We define the website division of the committee and what the website means and stands for. The Alumni Mentorship and Apprenticeship Network. This is now being combined with the Career Services Mentorship Program, which brings in alumni. And so these are all things that define how a committee functions. That could define what you do. That could enhance what you do. And it could make it a lot easier so that you're not stressed or just exhausted by SGA. Is anybody interested in working on something like this for one of the committees? I assume the VPs would be interested for all their committees. But... Okay. Oh well. Oh yeah, one of the other things was somebody was interested in recognizing graduating members, preferably a non-graduating member will organize this, just out of good faith, being thankful for people that have been here. Yes, Derek, you're interested in helping? Okay, Derek's interested. Anybody interested in helping him? You guys all really don't like Derek. One minute, sir. Thank you. Well, since Derek put his name in, somebody so inclined to jump down, maybe when I put my name, somebody else will raise their hand and want to join me. No, okay. Anyways, if your name isn't on here, I question your role as a senator, or maybe you're just motivated to do all these things. If you haven't raised your hand yet, and you're interested in at least participating in this process to help you SGA, as inspired by your own perspectives that were shared. Maybe some of you that are here didn't share those perspectives during the executive session. Raise your hand now if you want to just be assigned to one of these now. Anyone, you don't care. Okay. I will probably draft a resolution to propose next week then, that if you are not engaged in one of these, you are no longer a senator. And it doesn't have to be senators. The executive assistant could also work for one of these. I know. Yeah, that's it. I guess most people that here that had any passion have left now. But this is a good amount of people, so thank you everybody. And entertaining this idea. Is everybody motivated now? Is everybody also critical of SGA and upset and recognizes this as a healing process? Are there any other directions that you would want to take? This was our response to us trying to heal SGA. Well, maybe it's a bit simple and like organizations have this by default, but it hasn't. As Shahan expressed, it hasn't for at least 4 years. So is anybody, you don't have to be a senator, you can be a member, a former member. Is anybody interested in participating in this? Or does anybody have complaints? I'm gonna leave now. Every one of these committees, I'm gonna make sure you're all together and working on one of these things. I have 2 more things to present. One of the ideas, the new ideas of how the agenda was, is that there's a pre-proposal before it's officially proposed and voted on. I'm gonna pre-propose 2 things now. Both of these were assisted by ChatGPT. This is an international SGA. This is me looking for people that are interested in running a committee on international student affairs. I think the Global Services Office is abysmal, and I think that it could be worked with a lot better by students and engaged with by students a lot more. And so I'm not an international student, but I'm very close with people who are, but none of them are interested. Is anybody, this isn't me asking if you're interested. This is me saying, I have this committee that I would like to propose, and I think there would be a lot of people that would benefit from it. If you also think that, or you're an international student and you wish this committee existed, or you know others that would, please just try to find somebody that would help chair this. I think this would benefit a lot of people. I almost proposed this last year instead of the research affairs committee, but my ego got the better of me. In pursuit of a conciliant university, I like conciliants, I'm interested in it. And this is me trying to bring back the Art Institute subscription. Really upset that it's gone now, because I worked with Rachel Hirsch to bring it here. It's gone. I'm not looking at Eugene's sense, but I'm curious who, I don't know who it got through. Do you actually, I'm not like accusing you, but I'm curious. Do you know of anything? Okay. When I put this into ChatGPT, I said in the context of that the university should never be sacrificing its student experiences and its student offerings, no matter how much of a deficit it's in. So that's the perspective that it's coming in with here. Anyway, I would like to propose this officially and have it voted on next week, because I'm sad that I don't get to go there for free. And it seems that other people resonate with that. Those are the only 2 things I had to propose. I'll share. Derek so gratefully accepted my offer, my request to do weekly reports for everybody. I think the Senate weekly reports are pretty lame. Nobody wants to just say, I've done this so far out loud in front of everybody. So I wanted to document them. It seems that I was the only person to do that. I'm not criticizing people. I would also have no motivation to submit a weekly report to a failing institution, which is currently, well, I'll say a healing institution, is what SGA is. And so this is my weekly report. These are public. If anybody's interested in actually detailing how weekly reports should be submitted, and not just that they are weekly, that's another thing that you could work on. Yeah, I'm just like sharing that. That's everything. Yep, I'm done. If you're interested to go to the solar eclipse, 90 people have signed up so far. Sign up, join them. Do you need me to show? Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm going to call on the groups to join together and find each other. The first group is to increase or enhance student org and SGA relations. So this is Rezwan, Andrew Rollins, and Joseph Shimon. I'm going to stop reading the last names before I mispronounce them. The people that want to address comments, you can read Rutam and Golu. Golu's in the middle table right next to Derek. So there's 2 of you working on that. Shubham and Arendra. Data collection, cabling, other methods for getting perspective to students. I'm new. Can the three of you find each other, please? I see one person moving. It's fine. Sudipta wasn't called upon anywhere else yet. So Sudipta, Bhavya, you two are here. Ben is also here. Is Vikash here? Hi, Vikash. All right. So the four of you gather together. It looks like, actually, never mind. The three of you together. Ben's over there, so Ben should be able to move. I will work on this. It seems like Joseph is already working. Joseph, which one do you want to join? There's two groups that you've signed up for: the student org relations and the selection of senators. Which one do you want to work on right now for 15 minutes? Right now. Senator stuff? Okay. Okay. Joseph and I will be working on the selection of senators. So if you're interested in joining that, meet us. A founding mission, nobody signed up for that. Understand what you're saying. Derek, Mumnu, the same as Genevieve. This is about to be typed. Looks like you guys all have that. I'll be circling around to assist anybody that isn't in the committee. That's all. Thank you.
That's why we're here.
What's a better way for you?
I'm so sorry. I did not touch it, but I did like. I was saying that. Well, what I want to say, yes, there's a lot of rules, regulations, and
It helps.
it helps a lot. It helps like establish, not necessarily a hierarchy, but organization between like everyone who's there. And yeah, and then again, like saying like we usually have, we're getting paid for going for every meeting. It's like, some people would. And then after that, yeah, then we're encouraging and forced to like be active in the community in Chicago, because that is the to be active.
Yeah.
And to represent the community.
Are you in Leadership Academy?
No,
Did you apply?
no, I didn't.
Do you plan to apply? Do you know what it is?
No,
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not. IT isn't very vocal about certain things.
It's a scholarship.
Yeah. Trust me, I don't think I need any more scholarships.
Okay.
I'm pretty good right now. Right.
And so it is a different program, you know, all these scholarships, even.
I'm a part of a very weird scholarship, so I don't think I would be eligible. So,
Alejandro, you're still here. Sorry, I'm still in it. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm leaving, Alejandro. Bye.